5 tests over 3 days. The elite separate themselves in the quarterfinals. Only the top 300 men and women remain. Young stars rise while experienced vets lead. A pair of impressive comebacks continue, and the defending champs are on the charge. The semifinals are set. That's next on Game Central. Hi everybody, welcome to this Games Central Individual Quarterfinals recap presented by GoWOD, the official mobility partner of the Noble CrossFit Games. 5 workouts have narrowed the field down to the best in the world on the individual side of the competition as we now head into semifinals, and here are your unofficial winners by continent. In Africa, 37-year-old Jason Smith sits atop the overall leaderboard. Michelle Moran is there for the women. For Asia, Roman Krenikov, your top male athlete, and Sung Young Choi on the women's side. Over in Europe, Gabriela Migala, very impressive for the women's competition, and then Bjorgvin Carl Gudmundsson doing what he does and dominating on the men's side for Europe. In North America, Justin Medeiros continues his great early season. He will finish in first place, unofficial right now. And then Mallory O'Brien, how about what she's doing? Also first in Oceania. Ricky Garrard, the comeback continues. We'll have more on him in a second. And Tia Toomey, no surprise there. And in South America, Guy Maijeros wins for the men, and Julia Cato on top of the overall leaderboard right now for the women. We saw plenty of great individual performances from the athletes who wound up on top of their respective leaderboards, but my top athlete of the individual quarterfinals, presented by Monster Hydro, the official energy drink of the Noble CrossFit Games, is Ricky Garrard. He didn't win an event in Oceania, but he had all top 10 finishes except for workout number 2. He actually got hit with more than a 1-minute major penalty for his pistols, but he still got 8th in that workout. The comeback is real for Ricky as he continues to work his way back to the CrossFit Games. And Tia Toomey, what can you say about her? Another dominant performance, never finished lower than 2nd in winning the Oceania quarterfinal for the women. Congratulations to all the athletes who wound up in first place in their continents in the quarterfinals. Let's send it now to European correspondent Lauren Smith, who is taking a look at all the top event performances from the weekend.
Thank you, Sean. These are my top 5 performances of the weekend presented by Whoop. And what I've learned is it's really tough to pick just 5. But these are a couple of moments that stood out to me. And to start off the weekend, the teens made a huge statement. Emma Lawson picked up a massive event win, not just in North America, but set a worldwide record with a score of 5 minutes, 16 seconds in event number 1. Her strategy was just to go full gas and hold on, and it all came down to those strict handstand push-ups in the final round. Emma's unbroken set saw her ahead of tia-Clair Toomey by 16 seconds. She's 17 years old.
Workout 1 with the lunges and handstand push-ups. I knew those ones were very much in my wheelhouse, so that was kind of, I didn't really have much of a strategy going into it, to be honest. It was just kind of one of those ones where you just kind of go for it and embrace the pain and just kind of see how things play out. So that's exactly what I did, and it paid off.
In South America, SDC CrossFit had the top 4 men on the leaderboard at the end of day 1, but no one had a better performance than Augustin Richalmi. His family, who were present, must have acted as great motivation because the Argentinian set the 3rd best score in the world in workout 1, and a solid workout 2 saw him going unbroken throughout. Only 2 others had back-to-back wins on day 1, Keelan Henry in Africa, and perhaps unsurprisingly, tia-Clair Toomey in Oceania. What's better than 2 back-to-back wins? 3 wins in a row. Tia-Clair Toomey had 3 continental wins and a 2nd at the end of day 2, despite a 2-second penalty on the pistols. Another routine day for the 5-time fittest woman on earth, who had the best quarterfinal performance across the board all weekend, finishing with 7 points. Now, for my favourite of the weekend, workout number 4, and big numbers went up. But mostly they are from heavyweight specialists who are unlikely to see in the semi-finals. There was one name though that jumped off the leaderboard, and that's CrossFit's Thor Griffin Raleigh. He put up a massive 1,128 pounds. He took third in his continent, and his approach was just really clever. He maxed out a 415 pound clean in only 2 lifts. He then spent his time building to a 353 pound overhead squat and combined that with a 360 pound bench. To be throwing those numbers around and remaining competitive across the board is just so impressive. And finally, Workout 1 did not play to Laura Horvath's strengths. She broke up each set of handstand push-ups, and a small mistake on the second round of walking lunges didn't help matters, and she finished in 90th. In complete contrast, she closed out the quarterfinals by topping Europe in the final 2 events. A missed snatch was the only difference between finished first worldwide, but an unofficial second place overall, joint with tia-clair Toomey, that will do nicely as well. Just her ability to put an event behind her and just persevere and come out the other side, that's what's so impressive about Laura Horvath. She also turned 25 this week, so happy birthday, Laura, from all of us here at Games Central. Congratulations to all of the athletes who will be moving on to the semi-finals. I can't believe it's over so soon. 2 stages down, 1 to go, and well, then we're just looking ahead to Madison, aren't we? Sean, back over to you.
Thanks a lot, Lauren. And Lauren mentioned some very familiar names in that segment, but one name you may not know too much about is the woman who right now sits in second place in North America, and that is Alexis Raptis. She is a former teenage competitor at the CrossFit Games in 2015 and again in 2016. She took 4th and 2nd respectively in those years, and she is now training with the Training Think Tank crew in Georgia. She's just 23 years old, but has a great crew around her, and looks like she is having a breakout season. Unofficially, 2nd place right now in North America. Unfortunately, we did have some notable injuries that took place before and during quarterfinals. The first, Emma Carey, who made it to the CrossFit Games as an individual last year. She has had to end her season due to a nagging back injury. Really looking forward to seeing what she can do once she gets back to full health. Of course, she has her full career ahead of her. And then during the quarterfinals, Bethany Shadburn injured herself while warming up for event number 4, the other total. She posted on Instagram that her back went out and she will be unable to compete for the rest of the season. And if you remember, Bethany Shadburn last year qualified for the CrossFit Games, but was unable to compete when she tested positive for COVID-19 right before the competition. We wish the both of them the best and look forward to their comebacks next year. A comeback that is happening this year is Brooke Wells. She is having a great early part of her season, coming off that injury that she suffered at the CrossFit Games last year. She was 5th in the World Wide Open, and right now she sits in 5th place in North America.
I am very confident that I was the fittest that I've ever been.
This injury for some people, this can be a death sentence.
So my goal for this year is to just overcome my injury. I was hit with a lot of adversity, and so just more than just physically overcoming it, I want to mentally overcome it and just be really confident this season that I've done everything that I can to be the best that I can.
Brooke, as an athlete, she's one of the best competitors you'll ever meet. There's something that's going to light her fire and that's going to keep it stoked all year long, and that's going to be being a champion. And I think that's the one thing that is going to set her apart moving forward. Despite having any injury, despite any obstacles that she may face, she's going to have a why and a goal to where she wants to go, and that's what's going to make her a different level athlete than a lot of people. As we've come to learn, Brooke's going to come back. Brooke's going to be Brooke, and Brooke's going to keep doing whatever she has to do to win and be the best athlete she can be.
all this stuff before it hurts, like, doesn't really matter. Anyone can do that. But if you can push past things when it gets tough, that's when it actually matters. I'm Brooke Wells, new year, new scar, same goal.
Brooke Wells made a methodical charge up the leaderboard over the weekend. She was 21st after day one. Then just one day later, she moved all the way up for a tie for 6th place, and then right now, 5th place unofficially in North America. And I spoke with her about what the last few months have been like as she continues her comeback. Brooke, thanks so much for doing this. How you doing going through quarterfinals right now?
Honestly, like, I'm so excited just to be able to like participate and compete again. Obviously, I haven't been able to compete since the games, so it's been really fun to like be with my proven training team and kind of all get to do it together.
What has this journey back been like for you over the past couple of months?
Honestly, it's been a lot of highs and a lot of lows. Definitely more highs, because it's kind of like when you first come to CrossFit and you get like all these PRs. It's almost like starting over again. I'll do something and kind of feel like I have a setback, but probably isn't. It's just a part of like my elbow healing, but it'll flare up, and that's just very discouraging. So definitely a lot of like scary moments, like, is this realistic to compete this year, or should I take it just like to recover? But then definitely a lot of high moments. Completing quarterfinals is definitely one of those.
I know you work with GoWatt a lot. How have they helped you work your way through this rehab process?
So I have been GoWatting so much every single day, because I kind of lost some mobility in my elbow when this all happened. So just being able to make sure that my shoulders are ready for each workout, and my wrists, things like that. It's just been very crucial and important to get my mobility back in my elbow for my recovery.
Well, Brooke, best of luck moving forward to semifinals, and looking forward to seeing you back out on the Coliseum floor at the CrossFit Games.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Great to see Brooke Wells back out on the competition floor, and hopefully we get to watch her compete again at the CrossFit Games this year. She is part of that proven crew with Shane Orr and Tia Toomey. You probably know plenty about them, but one training camp that should be on your radar is the Progrm. They're based in Mallorca, Spain, and they are run by John Singleton out of the UK. And 3 other athletes did extremely well this past weekend. Gabriela Migala finished first for the women in Europe. Jacqueline Dahlstrom, another member of that training camp, was 2 spots back in 3rd. And then Kristof Horvath having a breakthrough season. He is moving on to semifinals. He finished in 41st place. And Coach John Singleton talked to us about how this structure that he has put together has helped his athletes excel.
So we started the program like 6 years ago or so now, and in essence we were traveling around running camps in lots of different places. And a few years ago we really wanted to create a central hub. In essence, a place where athletes can come to get better, to get stronger together. Our first year of that was obviously heavily affected by COVID. Then as soon as we came out of COVID, we realized the benefits that it was having. Sometimes it's not easy putting a group of competitive people together. However, I think if we can create the environment where everyone's focused on the bigger picture goals, it's amazing how much more each individual person can get out of themselves because of the benefit of the group.
Gabriela Migala was one of the young stars who really had a breakout season last year, and we are seeing that happen once again so far in 2022. In the quarterfinals, 16-year-old Olivia Kerstetter finished in 8th place unofficially in North America. She is the fittest teen in the girls 14 to 15-year-old division. She's coached by Games veteran Jacob Hepner, and she got better with each workout throughout the weekend and finished up with a 6th place finish in event number 5. From one end of the age spectrum to another, 37-year-old Jason Smith continues to hold it down in Africa. Unofficially, he finishes in 1st place with 30 points, a 7-point lead over Ruan Duvenage. Smith did not win a workout, but he was the only man in Africa who had all 5 of his finishes inside the top 10, and the guys chasing him have a lot of work to do to catch up to Jason Smith. So what are the top takeaways from this past weekend? To help us answer that question, here's Tommy Marquez.
Thanks, Sean. I'm going to be honest. Individual quarterfinals felt like they came and went in an instant. Thankfully, I've got some lingering body soreness to remember them by, in addition to some major performances that led to my top takeaways. And here are my top 3 takeaways from the quarterfinals weekend, brought to you by Orosty. First up, the youth movement that we've seen over the last year or so continues to grow, evidenced by even more athletes showing up on the first page of the leaderboard in quarterfinals. In addition to Olivia Kerstetter's amazing performance, you have names like Alex Willis, Tudor Magda, Jack Farlow, Freya Moosberger, Ben Fowler, Riley Martin, Grace Walton, and more, all showing up inside the top 20 of their continent. The Gen Z army is forming on the horizon. You have been warned. Number 2 for me is the fact that 2022 is shaping up to be the year of the comeback for big names of the sport hoping to return to the top. Jamie Simmons, Sarah Sigmundsdottir, Brooke Wells, Willie George, Sam Kwon, and Ricky Garrard all watched from the sidelines on Sunday at the games last year, but are all currently in the top 10 of their respective continents, and barring any major changes, are now moving on to semifinals with a full head of steam. And finally, I'm thinking Scott Panchik maybe should reconsider his retirement plan after the way the leaderboard shook out on the men's side. Not only did Scott finish 5th overall in North America, but he managed to beat out both of his younger brothers as well. Look, we just saw Tom Brady change his mind after only being retired for 39 days or so. Last I checked, there were over 200 days between the games last year and the Open this year. So I think, given Brady's standard, no one would bat an eye, Scott, if you just casually signed up for semifinals. I'm just saying, Scott, consider it, that's all. Either way, the season is certainly picking up some momentum now, and I, for one, cannot wait to keep the ball rolling and watch things play out over the next few weeks. Sean?
Thanks, Tommy, and I, for one, really hope we get to see Scott Panchik compete once again at the semifinals. Want to thank our sponsors for today's episode, GoWOD, the official mobility partner of the Noble CrossFit Games, designed for athletes with one goal: to help you perform at your best. Download the app now for a free mobility test and a 14-day trial. Quarterfinals are just getting started. The teams are up next. They will get going on April 7th through the 10th, and then we will close out the quarterfinal stage of competition on April 24th. The age group's getting going on April 21st. We have a new season of Miles to Madison getting set to debut. Season 2 starts Thursday, March 31st. You're going to get 3 segments: the Open, quarterfinals and semifinals, and the games, with new episodes coming out every Thursday. That is going to do it for this quarterfinals individual recap of Game Central presented by GoWOD. And before we go, here is a sneak peek at the trailer for the new season of Miles to Madison. Ooh, here we are again. I've always wanted to do that.
Are you ready to get the party started?
We're back, baby!
While the games are fun and exciting, the Open is the reason that I started doing this whole thing.
It's my birthday. I feel like I should be able to choose the workout.
4 reps remaining for Justin Medeiros.
I want to win the games and the team as well.
We know they're the best. They know they're the best. They can be beat.
This is what all the work is for.
All she does is eat, sleep, train.
Everything I do is with intensity and purpose.
It's kind of a coach's dream.
That's it, D.
I am constantly in pursuit of helping people reach their maximum potential.
Us together, working together and pushing each other, it's gonna be scary, really scary.
I want to make it back to the games. I want to have my best year yet.
I'm ready to run through a wall, man. Let's flip some tables. Let's do it.
Are y'all ready?
Let the games begin.